All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for calling in for our weekly Dreamers in Action team call. My name is Lauren, and I am super fired up just because I got off this amazing call that hopefully some of you listened to with Kathy Coover and Emily Vavra. And we're getting ready for celebration, and I've just been like packing and laying out clothes and getting so excited to, see the new products and, hear about the new changes to Customer First and learn from Tony Robbins. So it's just a really, really, really exciting time. Before we get into the heart of our call, I want to just kind of first remind all of you guys about the championship teams, and that you're forming those. They're teams of 6 people. You can have no more than 2 people that are director and above. The teams have to be set by like the second week in September, which they're going to backdate points through July. And this is an amazing way, you guys, that the top teams, the top business builders in the company are going to earn an amazing, amazing, amazing world-class cruise. If you've never experienced an Isagenix trip or you don't know anybody who has been on an Isagenix trip, all I will tell you is it is over the moon. It's the best. I mean, everything they do is 5-star, and it's just an experience you would love to have. So for those of you that are going to Celebration, I always kind of just like preach to the choir here, and as a friendly reminder that, leaders go first, and you just want to role model the best behaviors that people are following what you're doing. If you are there, that you're present, that you're being friendly, that you're welcoming others, that you're taking notes, that you're respectful of the speakers, those types of things, that you're there early, and just if you never have the chance to meet certain people again, those first impressions last, and sometimes you only get the chance to hear something once, and you don't want to miss important things. For those of you not attending Isagenix Live, I mean, they're going to air so much of that, and what a cool experience. So for those of you not going, I mean, grab a couple of friends, grab a couple of your teammates, and have them come over and do a viewing party and make shakes and eat air pop popcorn or whatever you have to do. But watch it together and take notes, because that's how we're all going to grow and stay in momentum together. A lot of you know, some of you don't know, but we do an amazing Rise and Shine call. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time and 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And it's a 10 to 15 minute call to just really pump you up, and we know that this organization, this business, this profession is all about leaders going first. It's about working on ourselves before we can serve other people. And it's a great way to just set your tone and set your mindset. So sometimes you don't have time for an hour call. You don't have time for, 20 pages of reading or to go to an event or something, but in 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just get your mindset right, to be having an intentional day, a purposeful day, to have gratitude, to be excited about something. It's just something I really, really would encourage all of you to hop on when you can, and tell other people why it's important for them to get on and what that does for them. Share your experience about maybe how you woke up in a, not a good mood, a little kind of poopy mood. And, by listening to that call, how it switched you and you went and had a great day, or you related and it helped you through a period of growth. I'm hosting an online virtual party tomorrow night. You guys, you're all welcome. I would encourage you to come and invite people. So I'm doing it a little bit later for our East Coast people, because a lot of our calls cater to their time, and we do them at dinner time here. So my party is actually the late night time for Denver people. It'll work out great for Pacific people. I know it's a little late, but the Facebook Live will stay up there. The link is in our Dreamers page. You guys add whoever you want to it, but it's just me. I'm just going to do it. I want to just keep people enrolling and keep people, in momentum over the summer. I just try not to ever take the brakes or my foot off the gas with the business. And then the last, I know there was an amazing corporate call tonight with Emily and Kathy, and the code is Celebration that expires tonight, but our typical corporate Zoom calls are tomorrow as well. So when you've got prospects and you want them to get on there, don't just tag them in there, or don't just like send the link, but like send them the photo with a voice memo, or text them telling them why you want to get on there. I mean, there's a couple girls I've been talking to, and I sent the flyer tonight with Emily and Kathy with a voice memo. And I was like, hey, this is going to be super short, but you're learning from the youngest millionaire and the founder of our company. Just hearing their voice is going to light you up. You can listen to it while you're driving home or making dinner. Please don't miss this, right? And then I took that same recording and I just forwarded it to a few people with the flyer. I sent it to over 20 people, 4 I know got on, right? So I know some didn't, but it's just taking that extra step. So instead of just tagging them, being really intentional on who you want to hear that and why you want to hear that when you're promoting the corporate calls. So I'm going to actually talk to you guys about the product spotlight. I had some people lined up, and family emergencies happen, kids get sick, things happen, and then I've got 2 really great established leaders to tell their stories tonight. But for those of you that haven't seen the spotlight product this week, it is our digestive enzyme complex. And I love this. I always kind of describe to people that the enzyme is like stuffing a washing machine without any laundry detergent, right? And the enzyme goes in and acts like the washing detergent. So it emulsifies things and it helps break down all that fiber and all that protein, that people aren't gassy, that they're not bloated, and they're absorbing the nutrition that they're eating. So our whey shakes naturally have the enzyme complex in them. The vegan, vegetarian do not. So if you have someone on the vegetarian shakes, like I immediately tell them, hey, there is no enzymes in here. You're taking in a lot of fiber, and unless you want to have enough gas to drive yourself to work without the car, you should take the enzymes, right? And Jen's like dying that I just said that. But it's true, right? I mean, we've all kind of experienced it, and give them the heads up, because if you can tell them up front that the enzyme is going to help that, then they're going to be really excited instead of calling you, telling you that they have pains every time they eat a bar, or every time they eat a vegan shake. Plus, I think whenever you have your mini meals, we're telling people to eat all kinds of vegetables, broccoli and asparagus and Brussels sprouts, and you guys know what happens after that. The enzyme complex is awesome. So it's not an expensive product. I would encourage you guys all to try it, add it into your cart, because then you can speak about it once you've tried it. But just make that recommendation. If you've got someone doing the vegan things, just say, I know you eat a lot of fiber on a plant-based diet. I would highly recommend the enzyme complex. Not only does it eliminate discomfort, but it helps you absorb all of the good nutrition that you're actually consuming. So before we get into the heart of the call, I first want to turn it over to Jen Feichter, because she is fabulous, and a lot of you know her as just a rising star and a six-figure income earner with the company and an amazing leader. But it started with a product experience. It really, really started with a product transformation. So if you could hop out, Jen, and tell us a little bit about your transformation, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes. So before I Gen X, I was a stressed mom, just tired, had no energy, and did not eat breakfast because I just didn't have time to cook it within, everything going on with the kids and everything. But I was introduced to Isogenics from Laura Laurie, who worked at our chiropractor's office. And within a short period of time, I started using the products. I cleansed and said I was going to quit, and stuck with it to the next day. And I have to say, everything changed after that. I was lit up from the inside out. I just felt so amazing, and little by little started adding on more and more products. I believe every single person should be on Isogenics who eats food. My children use it, my grandma uses it, and I tell every single person that they need these products in their body. It's definitely transformed my life.
What's your absolute favorite product? If you could have one product that you could never, ever, ever, ever be without, what would it be?
Ionix.
Ionix. Why?
I just feel like my stress level is like totally reduced big time with that.
I love it. I was just listening to the opportunity call with Kathy and Emily, and Emily in a kind way was saying, how she doesn't have the same like stressful life, with like she used to have before Ionix, but she still has a lot of stress. Do you guys hear what she said when she called it relaxed stress or excited stress? She's like, I like what I've relaxed to stress. And I was like, that's hilarious. But I love that. So then you guys, some of you know her, some of you don't, but I want Rachel to share her business story, because even though you might see her as Start 1000 or 3-star Golden Circle, she started as a shy, introverted, anything but a salesperson girl. And I love it over and over because she is relatable to so many people. So Rachel, will you share your business story, please?
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, before Isogenics, I was over $200,000 in student loan debt. I got my doctorate in clinical psychology. I thought for sure I'd be working until I was 60 or 70 years old, like normal, before I could retire and eventually then enjoy life. I was completely stressed out at my job, felt overworked and undervalued. And luckily, I was introduced by Lauren, my sister, to the product, but truly as the products. And she wanted me to try them out as a testimonial, which I said, fine, I would. I trusted her. But I didn't want anything to do with the business. And I swore it off, and I told her, do not talk to me about the business. I didn't have time in my life. I didn't have any interest. I was skeptical about network marketing. And like Lauren said, I was not the person who could sell anything. I was a psychologist who listened to people. But I fell in love with the products. I had an amazing transformation like Jen, and I couldn't keep this shut. Couldn't keep my mouth shut if I tried to, and it just oozed from me, and I cared more about other people and about helping people. And I initially just sent them to my sister, though. I said, go see my sister. She'll get you hooked up. Well, sure enough, she made me the enrolling sponsor, and I happened to make money by accident. And here, fast forward 4 years later, I quit that job of over 10 years. Isagenix pays my student loan bills every single month plus more. And I'm living a life that's completely fulfilling, passionate, and rewarding. And I've helped more people with Isagenix in the last 4 years than over 15 years in the health and wellness industry. But I had to learn, and I had to learn those skills, and I had to get out of my comfort zone to be able to do that. But it's because I care about helping people that I was able to do so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love it. I love it. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to get into this. And I can tell you right now, and I hope that they hear me say this when they watch the recording, part of tonight's attendance is because of the subject of the call. And I knew when I put it up there and I was open about it, it would be like that because people can't handle the truth. And one of the things that I've learned about my personality over the last few months and working really intimately with a life coach is that, you know, I am truthful to the point that I can hurt feelings because I just say it as it is. And that is not my goal tonight. That's like hopefully everything but what happens. You know, I really want to come from a place of love, but I also am a straight shooter because that's sometimes what I think it takes. And I think sometimes, you know, we live in a society that sugarcoats everything. And I want to be raw and I want to be real and I want to be vulnerable with you in different areas of my life and with this Isagenix journey that you can kind of see what it takes to really be successful. So I'm going to ask if you guys can be a little bit interactive with me right now. We've got a small call and, you know, I would love just a little bit of participation if you wouldn't mind either using the chat or unmuting yourself and hopping out. But the first thing that I want to know is when you hear the word consistency, what comes to mind? What does that mean to you in Isagenix or not in Isagenix? Okay, so Adam and Jen Victor say work. Right? That was the first word that came up was when you hear consistency that there's going to be work. What else do you guys hear? In the chat, or you can unmute yourself, like hard to maintain, repetition, follow through. Okay. What else? Any other ideas? Any other thoughts? Success? Any other careers? Any things that come to mind when you hear the word consistent? You know, when you're like, oh, because this was consistent, this success happened. Anything resonate? Anything come into the forefront of your mind? Trustworthy? Growth, like sports players. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to mute you guys for a second because they're getting an echo. All right. Any business success, Rachel? Perfect. If you guys, you know, when you want to chat, feel free to unmute and then just mute it when you're done so we keep the line clean. But, you know, when I think about consistency, for me, you guys, I didn't Google anything. This is coming from my heart. I didn't look up any definitions or anything right now. But when I think about consistency, I think about mastering the mundane. You know, I think about doing the same thing, you know, day in and day out, that repeating things and that sum of small actions every single day yield big results, right? That when it gets hard, when it gets tough, when it's not easy, when it's challenging, when you don't want to, when you don't want to feel good, that you are continuing to do the thing you sought out to do, no matter where that is in your life. So for example, I'm a fitness girl. You guys know that. That is a part of my life. I'm very consistent with it. It takes more effort for me to take a rest day than to go to the gym. And no matter where I am in the world, what day of the week it is, what holiday it is, that's who I am. And that's a part of my life. I schedule appointments around it. I schedule my sleep around it, whatever it may be. And I'm very, very consistent. And as a result, I've been in great shape for over 20 years. You know, like I run faster, I spin faster, I lift heavier. And regardless of what I may or may not look like, as a result of being consistent, right? I'm never having to get started again. I'm never having to rebuild that again. And sometimes you'll hear people that they get into a workout program, right? Like after the beginning of the new year, and after a few weeks, and they're starting to feel good. They might actually be seeing some changes in their body, or they're getting stronger, or they don't actually want to die or throw up on the stair mill or whatever it is. And as soon as they're changing these habits, something happens, right? They get sick, a kid gets sick, they travel for work, something that throws them out of it, that breaks that consistency, that they're starting over again, and they're starting over. And you guys have probably been there, or you know someone that has been there, and you know how challenging that is. you know how hard it is than to just keep going, right? And I want you to just think in different areas of your life. You know, I mean, I think back when I was a student. Some of you know this, some of you don't. I have 2 bachelors and I have 2 masters. So I'm not telling you I was a consistent student, but I knew that I consistently had to do my homework. I had to consistently go to class. I had to consistently read if I wanted to become a knowledgeable person, if I wanted to pass the test, if I wanted to get those degrees, if I wanted to be able to perform in my practice with everything I was learning, right? I mean, just showing up to a webinar wasn't enough. You know, if I showed up to class 25% of the time, it wasn't going to be enough. If I didn't do the homework, if I didn't read, if I wasn't consistent, I wasn't going to obtain the information. You guys see kind of where I'm going with this? Our Isagenix business is the same way, you guys. And we do an amazing job of casting a big vision. You know, we do an amazing job of selling the freedom and selling the dream. And sometimes we don't have enough conversations about what it really takes. And the first thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this was people are not consistent. People get fired up. I'll do a call with a business builder. They're like, get on the phone. She's my girl. Get her fired up. Cast the vision for her. And for less than a week, she's doing her 3x3 or he's doing her 3x3, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to do a launch party every month. I'm going to do this. And within a matter of days, you guys, it's like, wah, wah, wah. And they were like, what happened? And I think, you know, some of my favorite people to work with and partner with are people that are internally motivated. You know, people that are driven by contribution or growth or something inside of them, so you don't have to drag them, because inevitably what you're going to find is they are consistent. When I look at some of my top earners and top builders in this team, you guys, and some people think it happened easy for them, or, oh, they were on a team leg, or, oh, they had a bigger network, or, oh, they had experience. All of that is justifications and excuses you're telling yourself to get yourself out of not doing a good job instead of celebrating what they've done. And one of the things that comes to mind is consistency. Jen and Adam Feitzer recruit and connect and follow up every single day. You know, Rachel and Melanie and Laura and Keitha, they connect and they follow up and they do 3-way calls and they post on social media consistently. You guys, 4 times just today, random posts went up where I was tagged. Right? I didn't know who these people were. They're like, oh, Lauren Sims can help you. Lauren Sims can help you, right? One literally was like, who in Denver does Isagenix? And they were like, oh, Lauren Sims is your girl, right? Some random girl wrote, I need to do a cleanse. What should I do? And some random girl tagged me, Lauren Sims sells the cleanse, right? I mean, things like this. I didn't even know these people. And immediately what I was thinking is it's because I'm consistent with how I brand myself, how I live my life out loud, and what I'm doing, right? And so when you're addressing your Isagenix business, not only for yourself, but for your team, or for that matter, any area in your life that you're working towards a goal, what does the consistency look like, right? What does that look like with the small actions that you're trying to yield a large result or a big change? So maybe it's with your diet. You guys have seen people like, I'm never eating sugar again. And like by day 5, they're like binge eating Skittles and Starburst, right? Like things have happened. There's been a couple times this year that I'm like, I'm not drinking, right? Like it distracts me. It makes me not feel good. My workouts, like I'm done with the 2 glasses of wine at night. Like I don't want to do it. It doesn't make me feel good, right? And all of a sudden it's happy hour and it's someone's birthday. And I'm like, oh, I was consistently, you know, alcohol free for like a week, you know, and it's not that I have a problem, but I'm single, I'm social. But when I look back and I think I don't have some of the results I want, right? Like my electronic book is not published right now, not for anybody else except for myself, because I'm not consistent with that. And part of being the consistent is wanting the change bad enough, wanting the goal bad enough that you're willing to make the sacrifices or you're willing to create the habit. So look and just say, what am I wanting to achieve and what am I willing to do day in and day out? You know, and it doesn't mean you master this entire profession, but can I commit to posting on social media every single day? Can I commit to having a new conversation with someone every single day? Can I commit to following up with someone every single day? Can I commit to a launch party once a month, every 90 days? Can I get to a core 4 event at least once a year? You know, figuring out where you are, but what can you do, and knowing that this business will happen the more that you're consistent. But when people are frustrated that it's not happening, and surely when they're comparing themselves to other people, the bottom line is, I'll tell you, is there's a lack of consistency. So the next word that I kind of want to bring up that I'd love to chat with you guys is this idea of mental grit. And before I tell you what I think that means, I want to hear from you guys. So again, you can chat, you can unmute, but talk to me. What do you think mental grit is? What do you think that means when we talk about it? I have to be able to read the chat.
Weathering your emotions.
Weathering your emotions, fortitude. What else? What do you guys think that means? Mental toughness, not taking it personally, focus, sticking with it. Yeah. So, when I think about mental grit, I mean, what Rachel said is for sure what comes to my mind, right? This mental toughness is not taking it personally, but I think it's focus. I think it's determination. I think that it is this ability to be positive, this ability to, understand that things are happening and not self-sabotage. But I truly believe to be a network marketer, you have to have mental grit. I mean, you have to, because there's things that are going to happen that are going to challenge you. So the next word, which I'm trying not to cross these over because I think they're different, is having tough skin. But when I think about mental grit, like that's almost the fuel to be consistent. Like there's some days that I'm like, man, I'm going to cycle 10 to 20 times today, no matter what I do. I really want to go to the pool and I really want to turn off my phone, right? And what keeps me from doing that all the time? And that's that mental grit. That's my focus. That's if I don't do this, my life is going to go back to the way that it is. That's my ability to have gratitude that, I could make that choice. But if I'm receiving this, I want to give that away to somebody else. The mental grit is, saying, I just really want to unplug. I'm behind in Power. It's the one show I've gotten into in a long time, right? And I'm like, I really just want to binge watch 3 episodes of Power. So I'm like, I haven't listened to a podcast today. I haven't done any reading today. And it's that discipline to say, you know what? Watching Power is not going to grow me. Watching Power is not going to serve my business. That's not going to change my bank account. That's not going to fulfill me as a person. Like listening to Tony Robbins is, or reading John Maxwell is, or listening to Brene Brown. And that mental grit to just say, is this choice getting you closer to or further away from your goals? Right? That mental grit is when I want to push the snooze in the morning. I set my alarm clock at 4:30, 4:45 sometime to make a 5 or 5:30 gym class. Right? And that mental grit is when I want to be like, just kidding. I'd rather sleep. I was like, my cortisol levels are going to go down if I get 8 hours of sleep, right? That mental grit is what gets me out of bed and says, no, you committed. Anne's going to be there. Ashley's going to be there. They're waiting for you to show up or whatever it may be. But it's being able to not take things personally. And I'm going to roll into the next one because they are intertwined, of this idea of tough skin. And we don't want you to be insensitive. I don't want you to be insensitive. I don't want you to have tough skin where you don't care about people. That is not the message that's coming across. The message that is coming across is one of the 4 agreements, which is to never take anything personally. So I've used this example for almost 4 years, almost since the day I started Isagenix. I've been using this analogy that I do not like Indian food, you guys. There's nothing wrong with that culture. I know how healthy it is. I personally cannot stand it. The taste, the smell, the appearance. And if Rachel came into town, right, and I haven't seen her in a while, she lives in Mexico, and she's like, I'm in town. I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally want to come hang out with you. She was like, I'm in your neighborhood. We should go to lunch. Let's go to Bombay Grill. I'd be like, ugh, I don't really want to go, right? Or I would go and I would bring my own lunch or something, right? It has nothing to do with Rachel. I just really don't like Indian food. And there's going to be people you talk to that no matter what, they just really don't like shakes. There's going to be people that you talk to that just really don't want to be in network marketing. There's going to be people you talk to that are so introverted, they are deathly afraid even to get on a call like this or whatever it may be, that you've got to figure out how to detach yourself from that outcome, that you've got to be able to not take that personally because it's going to show up. Here's another example that I've been using, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I try to make things as simple and relatable as possible so it's duplicative. I love peanut butter. Like there are 2 foods that I do not buy and do not keep in my house because I have zero control over: ice cream and peanut butter, right? I could eat a whole jar. Like I literally just want to eat a tablespoon of it. And like an hour later, like a tablespoon of it. And like 2 days later, I'm like, I ate the whole jar of peanut butter. So I don't buy it, right? But how could I literally almost have like a food addiction with something, but a trace of it can kill somebody? Someone with a severe peanut allergy can have anaphylactic shock. And so when people have a reaction or it doesn't work for them or they send their products back or whatever it is, that tough skin is going, okay, they had a peanut butter reaction, not my problem. I'm going to focus on the other 9,999 people that are sleeping better, lost weight, building muscle, having more energy, making money, and not getting hyper-focused on the one person that said something bad about you, not getting focused on the one person that didn't do what you wanted them to do, not getting focused on the one person that didn't like the taste of the cleanse or they threw up on a shake day or, the stranger things that happen because it's going to happen to all of us. I was at a conference about 1.5 years ago that Robin Sharma did, and then Eric Coover kind of reenacted a similar take on it at Celebration 2 years ago. But that as leaders, right, on the front, we see leader. And you're like, yeah, I'm a leader, right? People are respecting you. You think you've got it all together. There's this recognition. But on the back says target. And sometimes we forget that. And when you're a leader, this is the statistics, you guys. This is for politicians. This is for celebrities. This is for business people. This is for anybody who is in the highlight, in the spotlight that other people are looking at and watching. 20% are going to love you no matter what. They're going to be loyal to you. They're going to follow you. They're going to support you. They're going to cheer you on when you screw up. And 20% are going to hate you no matter what. Doesn't matter how perfect and amazing you are, for whatever reason, they're always going to backstab you. They're always going to judge you. They're never going to have anything good to say. And then what's in between, that 60%, they're your fair weather fans. Some days they like you, sometimes they hate you. And their fluctuation usually has more to do with what's happening inside of them. But you are the reflection board. You are the sounding board for that. And it is so important that you as a network marketer, that you as a leader, that you as a self-employed personality has this idea of tough skin. Not that you are not insensitive to people when there's an issue, right? Not that you are not caring about people when there's a reaction, right? When there's a return, when they're frustrated. That's not what I'm saying. It's about choosing to focus on the gratitude, focus on the success, focus on the things that fuel you, and not getting wrapped up in the things that don't. You guys, if I could tell you the amount of times people have texted me or messaged me or emailed me, well, so-and-so said this about you, da-da-da-da-da. Well, this is what they just said that you said. If I spent a fraction of time focused on that, my business would be flying downhill so fast. I would be so absorbed with negativity. There's no way I could, with love and excitement and joy, show up every day and want to help people. But that's a decision. Like, that's literally, people can say that to be like, you know what? That's your issue. That's not mine. And I'm not embracing it because there's too many people out there that are begging us for us. There's too many people out there looking for our solutions that I'm not spending any time in that place. And so I want you guys to embrace this in your Isagenix business. When somebody says no, they're not saying no to you. Don't feel rejected. I get rejected all the time, if that's the thing, all the time. But I don't think about the person that said, did you just message me to sell me something? I don't think about the person that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just called me to sell me Isagenix, right? I think about the person that goes, holy cow, I can't believe you just called me right now. My husband was just diagnosed with high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and we're praying for a nutritional solution, right? I focus on the person that goes, oh my God, I was just laid off. We needed money yesterday. You're telling me I can make money with this? I choose to focus on those people. And that's this idea of having tough skin and understanding that there's never going to be a perfect situation, you guys. Never. Even with your closest friendships, your closest business builders, the people that you lock arms with, your board of directors, it gets rocky. It gets rocky. There are wall-kicking moments. There are tears. There's moments of frustration. Every single one of us has times we want to quit. But that's where you have the tough skin that you say, okay, these are temporary moments, right? These are not lasting moments. And these are the things that make me stronger. This is what gives me character. This is what makes me tenacious. This is where I can break through. This is where I'm learning something to be more empathetic or vulnerable or whatever it may be with somebody else. And I can tell you personally that some of my hardest moments in my life, some of the most frustrating things that I have ever experienced from childhood to a month ago, right, that have nothing to do with Isagenix, it is why I am the way that I am. It's the strength that I have, and it's the way that I can connect and relate to people. And the more that I can embrace sometimes that pain and frustration, because it's really shaped me and really crafted me into who I am and who I'm supposed to be, the better things get, right? And the better you can release the negativity and embrace the positivity for it. And that can happen small or large. So there's going to be those wall kicking moments, right? There's going to be these times that you have to just put on your big girl pants, get back to your why, get back to the fun factor and say, you know what? I'm better than that. I'm not taking this personally. I'm not letting that comment, that whatever, get to me. And allow this team, this support, to really believe in you guys and hold on to you through those moments. And the last thing is this idea of servant leadership. And when Jenny would first talk to me about that, my first mind, like the way I went to it, because I wasn't familiar with that term, was a religious thing. You know, I was like, oh, that must be like a religious thing. And we're here. Like, I just didn't know. I'd never been in leadership. I didn't really understand it. And the more I read about it and the more that I really, truly not only get it, but embrace it. Jenny used to tell me things. My success has nothing to do with me. My success has to do with the success of other people. Jenny would say things to me like, the more you bless others, the more you pour into others, the more you care about your success, you cannot stop a moving freight train. You know, she would tell me, like, the more that you reach down, the more that you do things for other people without an attachment of how it's affecting you, she's like, it just shows up. It just shows up. You'll be blessed with more abundance because you're showing up with that giving heart. And that's the idea of the go-giver. If you guys have never read that book, I mean, there's this whole thing of like, oh, give me gas, I'm going to cook you food. It's like, well, no, you have to do that, you know, like, or I'll cook your food and then I'll give you gas, right? I mean, it's the other way around. And people say, oh, if you give me a raise, I'll work harder. No, you work harder to earn the raise. It's a mindset thing. And so I, resonated with a lot of Chris Harder's calls, and we've had this conversation multiple times in person. When I get frustrated with my business, right? When I'm like, man, people aren't getting on team calls, or, my cycles aren't growing, or I've lost consultants, or I haven't rank advanced somebody in a while, where it's really easy to point the finger, right? It's really, really, really easy to be like, well, they don't want it bad enough, and they're not having launch parties, and they're not calling people, and they're not following up people, and they're not getting to events, right? It's very easy to go into that place. But as a servant leader, you say, what can I be doing better? How can I be motivating them to get on the call? How can I be helping them with a launch party? Why are they not rank advancing? Where do they need help with connecting, with overcoming objections, like promoting events, right? What do I need to do? What skill do I need to learn in order to serve other people, right? When I had my practice and I was exchanging time for money, you guys, I had to work. If I didn't work, I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills. And the last few months of me running around like a crazy person and working all these jobs, I was at the end of a really bad relationship. And for anyone who's been through a divorce or been through a bad breakup, you know those mornings when you've been fighting, yelling at each other, and you got to get through the day, right? And I remember driving to work sometimes just bawling my eyes out, so miserable, but pulling up to the parking lot and being like, you're going to see 50 to 80 patients in the next 10 hours. Get it together, right? And putting a smile on my face and pouring into them because they were paying me to be their nutritionist and they weren't there to listen to my drama. And I had to check it at the door, go to work, and I was going to pick it up when I left. As an entrepreneur, as a network marketer, you guys, sometimes we don't do that because we are an army of volunteers. No one can hire you. No one can fire you. And so sometimes when you're having a bad day, or maybe you're hungover, or maybe you're tired, or maybe you're not feeling good, or whatever it may be, we put this to the offside because there's no one giving you a to-do list. There's no one checking in on you to say you have to do this, right? But I can tell you with total transparency and total honesty, what drives me the most, especially on bad days, right? Especially when I'm just like not totally feeling it, is the servant leadership. If I show up in my business the days I'm a little frustrated or I'm a little bummed out or I'm a little under the weather or whatever it is, like, oh, I got to call 3 people today. I have not followed up with anybody today. I haven't enrolled my 5 people this month to get my vitamins, right? Nothing happens because there's no joy in it. It's not fun and it feels like work. And I don't think this is work, right? People don't respond to me in a way because this is all about me at that point. But when I can tap into my mindset, right? When I can sit here and I look at this board, which I've showed you guys a gazillion times, that's full of thank you notes from the team, right? And I look at my vision board and I look at this whiteboard and I tap into like, okay, You know what was really freaking hard was driving to this doctor's office for $12.50 at 6 o'clock in the morning in a blizzard, right? Like I never want to do that again. I think like I hate driving. I'm not a good driver. I don't like to drive in the snow. And I would drive across town in traffic in a, crappy car for $12 an hour. Like I never want to do that again, right? When I start to think about like, okay, if I'm not going back there, number one, that's not hard. Like let's just compare apples to apples for a second. But even more than that, you guys, is the servant leadership. I say, you know what? The fact that I get to choose if I set an alarm or not, the fact that my dad is taken care of, the fact that my mom is taken care of, the fact that my sister is taken care of, right? The fact that we are really, truly living this, I'm like, who am I to have a bad day and sit here in my Willow Wowdy party, right? Who am I to be like, I don't really feel like doing that right now? And that's this idea of stepping up, that you have a purpose much greater than yourself. I've been saying this for 3.5, 4 years. Isagenix as a company, as a unified global movement, will be the largest health and wellness company in the world. They want to impact more people physically and financially. I mean, that's the vision. And to do it in a respectable manner, we get to be a piece of that. We're messengers of an amazing story to inspire and assist a lot of people. When you can see that you are a small person in this big puzzle, but your small, consistent actions and energy truly, truly show up in a way that you can impact others, some of those excuses go away, right? Some of this, like, I don't really want to do that. I don't really feel like doing that, go away, because I literally have like guilt inside of me. Like it was written across my mirror in my bathroom, my old apartment. I still have a sticky note in my office with, what if Janet Elo didn't call you? Right? For a second, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a bad moment, I'm like, you know what? I don't really like that I was on an inside leg. No, I don't really like that my sponsor hasn't done things for me. I don't really like that these people haven't called me back. I don't really like that 3 people have returned this week. I don't really like that not everybody's coming to Celebration, right? For a second, if I want to go down that rabbit hole, which makes me frustrated and not want to work this business, I go, what if Janet Elo did not call me, right? Like, what if my mom didn't have a retirement? What if my sister was still in corporate America? What if I was still $50,000 in debt going paycheck to paycheck? What if Jen Feichter wasn't home with her little boy? What if Laura was still in corporate America? What if Kisa was still changing time for money, not being able to create a college tuition for Reese, her girl? Like, whatever it may be. And that's what makes me get to work. And that's what I think of as this idea of servant leadership, is saying, I care more about what I can do for you than what you think about me. I care more about what I and this company and these products can do for you than getting in my own head. What's keeping me, stalled, what's creating all these excuses, which is keeping me from moving forward. And so I want to wrap up, you guys, with thinking about these words. And maybe if there's some things coming up for you right now, journal about it. Reach out to your accountability partner. But, what does consistency mean to you? Where are you lacking consistency in your business, in your life? And where can you be more consistent to get the goals that you're really aspiring for? You guys, some of you have seen my calendar when you want to schedule 3-way calls, and I block off my workouts, I block off my prospecting, my 3-way calls, like whatever. It is so important to me right now that I get this book published. I've been talking about it for 1.5 years and I've done nothing. And I'm at this point, I'm like, you're looking like you're crying wolf, right? People are like, what book do you have? That now in my operating hours, I have book. And I literally shut it down and I close Facebook and I turn off my phone and I just focus on this, because I have to make that a habit, right? I have to make it a consistent thing if I want it to happen. So just think about wherever it is in your life, if it's your weight, if it's your sleep, if it's your business, if it's your savings, if it's wherever, where are you lacking consistency and where are you doing well and where can you improve to really get to where you want to be? And this idea of mental grit, right? I mean, that's your why, that's your motivation, that's your intrinsic drive, that's this ability to not take things personally, but just to say, if I'm going to be, successful in a profession that 90% of people don't do well, what makes you tenacious? What makes you audacious? What makes you fun? What makes you stay in the game? What keeps you motivated? What makes you have sleepless nights and early mornings or whatever that may be? And if you're feeling soft, if you're feeling like, oh man, every time someone says no, or every time I get a return, that takes me out of the game for a while, then reach out to us. Let's work on what we have to do to help you have this mental grit. Because when I think about mental grit, Is I think about all the successful failures out there. I think about the people that were told no and no and no and no, and they're an amazing success story because they had grit, right? So I think about athletes. I think about, Jack Canfield is the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I think if the statistic is like 245 times his book was denied, and he's the #1 all-time selling author now. Oprah Winfrey was told that she was unfit for TV. Walt Disney's partner bailed on him because of this dream that he had, that it was Coney, and people thought he was going to be on drugs or whatever. And look at these success stories. So that mental grit is saying, you know what? It's okay that you told me I can't do this. I'm going to do it anyways. That mental grit is when the doubters, when the haters, when people are judging you, you go, that's okay. You can have your opinions. I'm going to build my paycheck, right? It's just being able to be in a mindset that you don't care. Because those people are going to hold you back. Misery likes company. And instead of them going to work on themselves or their life, they're affecting you. And the only person that can control it is you. That's the mental grit. And this idea of tough skin. Don't hold on to things. Like literally, like change your state, shake it off. I am not an insensitive person. And there's people that will actually vouch that I'm highly sensitive, that things that should not hurt my feelings really do hurt my feelings. But then I have to just logically go through it for a second and say, okay, that doesn't merit my time. That doesn't merit my energy. That doesn't merit my space. That's taking me away from my purpose and why I was created to be here. I'm not putting energy into that. It doesn't mean my feelings won't get hurt, but I put on a song, I shake it off sometimes. I have to text someone to get it off, or I go for a quick run and then I come back. And I heard Tony Robbins say this, and I've heard Les Brown say this. As entrepreneurs, we're allowed bad moments, maybe bad hours. We are not allowed bad days, and we are not allowed bad weeks. The only person that's creating this and designing it is you. And every time you get stuck in that, all that negative energy, you are showing up as a shield to the world instead of a magnet. And when you can come from a place of love and joy and gratitude and excitement and not take that stuff personally, you become a magnet for the world, not only because you inspire people, but they trust you, right? If you're going to be in and out and wishy-washy and high and low with the emotions, guess what? That's how people are going to show up to you, right? So as the leader, that's what you decide. And then as a servant leader, that's not like, I have to do this 3-way call right now. I've got to do another launch party. I'm in another Facebook message thread, right? Like I was in a coffee appointment and I came out the other day, you guys, no exaggeration. I had 53 Facebook messages, 40 of them were those voice memos that we're doing, those like group message threads of like, I was introduced to them, right? And I looked at it. This is a true story. I almost took a screenshot, right? But I was like, I'm so excited for all those messages right now. That's so many people we get to bless with Isagenix. And then I had to go, I really hope I don't forget to respond to one of these. And I just started responding. And I thought in the time that I sent these messages, right, these little voice memos back to people or responded in there, I said, that's 40 people whose lives might be blessed. That's 40 people that are going to be a part of this team, that are going to get healthy. They're going to put the Rolls-Royce of nutrition in their body, or, be able to build a safety net of supplemental income for their family. And I was like, there's a lot harder things I've done in 40 minutes of my life, right? And I said, I go to the Stairmaster for 40 minutes all the time. That's a lot harder. But it's this idea of not bitching, not complaining, right? Not getting stuck into how this is an inconvenience for you, but showing up of what you can really give to other people. I was with my mom the other day. She asked if I would help her go shopping for some stuff for celebration. I kind of have a natch, just grab some things really quickly. And 2 people called and she's like, I'm so sorry that I'm bugging you. I know you have to work. And she's feeling guilty that I'm helping her shop, which I'm like, no, I want to be here with you. Don't feel bad. But at the same point, I can do 2 things at once. While you're trying on the jumper and I'm sitting out here, I can text this girl back, or I can hop on the phone real fast and answer her question, because that's not an inconvenience to me. That's what allows me to be able to go to Vegas all next week and get paid the whole time. 3 years ago, I would have missed out on, 80 hours of work and lost all that money. And so I want you guys to see that you will be rewarded. You will be blessed abundantly, but it starts with you showing up on how you can serve other people. This is not about what other people are doing for you. And when you get in that place, do not expect to move anywhere. When you can show up in a way truly, authentically, with integrity, genuinely, of I get to play a role in this person's life. What can I do today to help this person? What can I do to propel this person forward? I promise you, there are not enough ropes to hold you back. There's not enough gates to keep closed the momentum that will come. But I truly believe these are the 4 things that is the difference between success and not success in network marketing. In a lot of areas in life, but for sure in this business. I don't think it even has to do with as many conversations, even though that's important. I don't think it is as important as many follow-ups, as many launch parties, right? If you're on a team leg, if you're on an inside leg, I truly believe that being consistent, having this mental grit, being tough skin and showing up as a go-giver is the game changers. And these are things that I've learned along the way. I'm so grateful that Janny and Cindy poured into me. And I just started thinking, what can I share with them tonight? What can we talk about that isn't necessarily logistical, right? It isn't an objection. It isn't how to connect, but it's this big picture evaluation of who you are. Who do you want to be? And at the end of the day, when you face yourself in the mirror, the only person that knows the truth is you and God, right? But that's you, for you to decide. And you can blow smoke up whatever, you can deny everything, you can be honest about everything, but you can really say, did I show up today to be a go-giver, or did I go up today all about myself and I'm frustrated that, people don't care about my success, right? Did I take things personally? Did I spend 2 hours of my day telling the whole world about all the drama in my life and complaining about everything, or did I brush it off and get to work? And so I just want to leave you guys with that stuff. And as we go into celebration and we're going to come back, there's no call next week, right? We're going to come back and we're going to be fired up. We're going to see Tony Robbins and his energy is amazing. And we're going to start the new 90-day action plan. And we're going into a busy season. The busiest times of Isagenix are January to March, April-ish, and September into the holidays. When we go into this, summer's over, people want a routine, kids are back in school. We're going into the busy season. And if this is your first year building, putting these systems in place, putting your mindset in place to succeed. And if you're someone that's been here before, then just spend some time tonight saying, what can I do celebration 2017 different than 2016? What am I going to do in 2017 that was different than 2015? What do I have to do to make those things happen? And when you get clear on that and the more you work on yourself, I promise you the business comes. So I love you guys. I can't wait to see most of you in Vegas. For those of you that are not going to be there, do the Isagenix Live, watch it online, have a party, get your team online. It's just going to be amazing training. You guys are 6 new products coming out. I only know of 3. So I'm super excited. I'm just excited as you guys. It's going to be a high cycle week, high business volume week, just have a ton of fun. Use the enrollment code tonight. Use the one for tomorrow. And we will see you 2 weeks from tonight. No call next week. So see you guys on Rise and Shine soon. Bye, you guys. Good night. Thank you for dialing in.